Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 9 of 36 of the ANZCAR Cup, brought to you by 24/7 Sim Services for 2022. We are here, as you can see, on a very dirty, a very dusty Bristol Motor Speedway. I am Carl Withy, and in the booth with me tonight, I have on cameras and also chatting away a little bit, Mr. Matt Hunter. How you going, Matt?
I'm good, Carl. Thank you. How are you tonight?
I am not bad at all. Obviously, we are here at Bristol, a bit different, a bit dirty, very different for these cars. It's going to be an interesting little outing for everybody tonight.
It sure is. It sure is. I always find that with Bristol dirt, it's like that scene from the Godfather movie where where he says, "Look what they did to my boy," or "Look what they did to Bristol with dirt." So I like dirt racing, but I prefer Bristol with no dirt on it.
Exactly. It's just, what did you do to Bristol,
What did you
guys?
do to my boy?
You've ruined it.
You've
Get the
ruined
sweepers out there. Um, anyway, we did have a little interesting video beforehand as well with Zero Alpha Motorsport. ZAM, Zero Alpha Motorsport, is a non-profit organisation for the assistance of ADF, Australian Defence Force veterans, to get involved in motorsport. We're thrilled to announce that they have elected to partner with us and our Anzac round at Talladega uh, for the ANZCAR event, effectively, with the Weekend Warriors. The winner of the Anzac race at Talladega will receive the opportunity to come along to one of the track days slash practice sessions and experience the thrills of driving one of the ready to race vehicles. For those who like the dirt, we can offer you a drive with one of our Formula 5 500 Speedway cars, which, for those who aren't familiar with the category, essentially small scale sprint cars running a 600cc motorbike engine. But don't be fooled by the size. The thing only weighs 350 kilograms, which is, that's what, three of me effectively, which is not much at all. With these, they go very, very quick indeed. And depending on track conditions, sometimes can lap even faster than the actual 900 horsepower sprint cars because of the power to weight ratio. If the winner is under the age of 16, which I think we got too many out there. Lachlan Capel might be kind of close in that one, in that age range. They won't be allowed to run the Formula 500, unfortunately, but in that case, we have our mighty little Daihatsu Junior sedan. If dirt racing isn't your thing, though, which for a lot of these guys it is not, but we are at Bristol Dirt, so I thought we might as well have that on there. Then there is the option of Tarmac Rally Time Attack Honda Prelude. This is a punchy little four-cylinder, which they've used previously for the Targa Tasman and Time Attack. It may not be a huge horsepower car, but they've spent a lot of time and effort getting that car to handle absolutely spot on. And if you've ever driven a race-ready Honda Prelude, you will know that those things are really, really fast and very, very fun. Its last fill at Basketville Raceway, they were able to do a respectable lap time of 62 seconds, which definitely is getting on there in speed. We'll provide everything you need for the day, including all safety gear, and we'll have plenty of experienced drivers on hand to help get you comfortable and confident with the car, and get the most out of the experience. All cars will be exact same as the way they race. There will be no detuning, no restrictor plates, nothing like that. It's a proper race car ready to go. As practice sessions are limited, we are unable to advise of the exact date right now, but we can tell you the following. The car will be the Formula 500 at Carrick Speedway, Tasmania. The junior sedan will be at Carrick Speedway, Tasmania. The Honda Prelude will either be at Barksville or Symonds Plains, Tasmania, TBA. Now, we totally understand that most people likely aren't from Tasmania and want to assure that the winner will work with them to get the opportunity so they can get there. The dates will be flexible in that respect.
Yeah, it's a massive prize. It's going to be a really interesting race at Talladega one because, as anything can happen in super speedway racing. Big ones, order of the day, really. So yeah, it's going to be a massive prize for someone to win there.
Exactly. It's a fantastic prize. Head over to the ANZCAR Facebook page to get all the information on that one as well. There's a lot more in there as well. You can head over to the ANZCAR Facebook page, to get all the details on that one. So we'll get you with that when it comes. But we have got a race here tonight, and up on the front row, it is Jaden Russell taking out the pole position in a 28. To not a great surprise to those that know dirt racing, Jay Russell, one of those specialists. Michael Scullop on the outside having a really respectable time. He's going to be pushing hard. He is no slouch on the dirt. In the VR tonight, he's going to be looking for a good run. Brenton Hobbo Hobson is on the second row with Jake Maloney on the outside. Josh Micklemore and Dave Douglas make up the third row. Maddie Ray, Andrew Dyson, fourth row. Andy Barber, Jason Martin on the fifth row. Schultz and Pearson, sixth row. Button Traher on seventh. Nankervis and Spencer on the eighth row. It is Patterson and Jai Schultz on the ninth row. 10th row is Jaeger and Clark. 11th we have Wellman, O'Shea, Jackson, Carroll, Walden, Curtis, and Heddersheed rounds out the pack at the moment. So 26 cars out there tonight. Not a full grid here, but probably for the best here at Bristol Motor Speedway on the dirt. Not the easiest place to race as it is, but they are getting ready to go live. It's going to be 130 laps here tonight. Who is going to get the win here on the dirty stuff? Who is going to get the slide job done properly? It is going to be tricky. It is going to be a bit of patience, and the track will evolve as this race goes on.
Indeed, 150 laps on this one. Not sure about pit stops, whether they're going to need to do one for fuel or not. But here we go, we're underway.
And we are green, and it is Jaden Russell getting a really good start there, getting away nicely at the front. As he leads away, the pack sprawls out, and you can see the cars are absolutely all over the place. This new, the new Cup car, of course, a very different beast to drive, and quite a lot of horsepower, of course. The rear diffuser is probably not going to do much on dirt, in all honesty.
No, I got no idea how it's going to go. I did see in practice they were bumping around quite a bit once the track warned, so yeah, no idea how it's going to go.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I've sort of been watching and seeing a few practice runs and sort of watching some of the actual drivers sort of go out in some of the other races as well through the week. And it seems like a slightly smoother driving style pays off as this race goes on. In the early stages, you can absolutely drift this thing around, get it going sideways and drive it like a proper dirt car. But as that tarmac, well, as the dirt starts to wear away, gets more compacted, you'll start to see a shiny line appear in the low line, and that's when you just need to drive it slightly smoother, and that might throw a couple of people out. It might work into some people's it might have been more advantageous for a couple of people as well, so we'll see how that one goes. Just keeping an eye out at the moment on the drivers out there, and it is Jaden Russell in the lead, but Breno and Hobson have got second place. Hobbo up to second at the moment, trying to get the slide job on Scully. Scully holding that higher line. He's making it work at the moment. That's slightly loose dirt, will give him a little bit more traction on the exit, but it doesn't help him there. Hobbo getting the move done, getting underneath, and a nice job there from Hobson.
Yeah, he's probably one of my picks to look at winning this race. Both Jaden and Hobbo, very, very strong dirt racers, faster than anything really. So yeah, good. He's got that pass there of Skillock, but Skillock's no slouch on dirt either though.
No, absolutely. There are a few dirt specialists out there and a few people with a lot of dirt experience. One of them is the 31 down in fifth place, Josh Micklemore, running a different paint scheme tonight as well. Running a yellow paint scheme, just to throw us off, to confuse us, of course. It's a nice yellow paint scheme, I think possibly a throwback to his dirt days.
Possibly, yeah. I was a bit surprised. I was like, who's that in that yellow car? It's because he's normally in a blue car. Oh, gets into Jake there, but Jake got up to the wall. But yeah, definitely took me by surprise. But yeah, it's a nice looking paint job.
That's it. Yellow like his rubber ducky. His lucky rubber ducky, of course. So we'll see how that one goes. Jake Maloney, yeah, getting caught up on the wall, and that's something you've got to be careful of here. The car will absolutely get caught up there, and you've got to be careful running that high bank and that high wall, because the dirt will sort of pull up there, and it will effectively hook the car up there, and you can't get off. A lot of drivers have been struggling with that in this new generation of car, this new Gen 7 car.
Yeah, it's especially on dirt. It's quite a heavy car, I imagine. You know, the dirt cars I think are normally quite light, so this is quite a big beast of a car and probably slides around quite a lot more.
Yeah, it's not the easiest of things to control, and plus it's got, 700 horsepower in the rear tyres, so it's not exactly low on the old horsepower either. Very heavy, very much unwieldy beast, but Jane Russell's making it look easy at the moment, same as Jake Maloney, just a little bit further back in the Toyota Racing colours there, which we normally see for Moko Dortnack. So I glanced back and I thought Moko Dortnack was having a really good run there for a moment, and no, that's not as Jake Maloney, as they are catching it up to cars already lapping cars
Oh
here
yeah, yeah. It's like
tonight.
they're going so fast. They've leapt up to 18th place already. Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up just seeing a couple of cars on the lead lap at some point tonight if this keeps going green.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to keep on the lead lap, in all honesty, because these guys up at the front are ridiculous paces at the moment. They're a good couple of seconds faster than everybody else, as the caution flag does fly for the first time tonight.
Let's have a look and see if we can find what might have caused the caution. Let's have a look back through.
Oh, there was a car the wrong way. Michael Skurlock, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I believe it was Michael Skurlock. So looks like Skurley's gone all the way around. So it was Michael Skurlock indeed, who brought out that caution. Looks like the car has just looped on him, just got down on the power, and around he goes. And then all of a sudden he gets caught by Norman Clark. Gary Wellman, I think, was going down trying to avoid him, and he takes a big bump into the barrier below hand. And then also Jake Maloney, he was getting around and he sort of caught Skurlock, and then on the exit of the corner he actually looped it himself. So he sort of looped it as he was getting past Skurlock. So a couple of little incidents there for all the drivers. It wasn't too bad for Maloney because the caution flag came out. He managed to get himself back up into P3.
It'd be so hard when you can see the car stopped in front of you and you're on the brakes, but you just don't slow down quickly enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is absolutely the case. And of course, I'd be running quite a high front brake bias as well to try and get the car pitched in. One of the things you can do, sort of in the trucks at least as well, you run a slightly further forward front brake bias just to dab the brake a little bit, pitch the truck in on the dirt. And sort of similar principle in this car. A bit of a heavier beast though, of course. Jake Maloney coming into pit lane. So he's obviously got some damage, so that might be him just getting a quick repair. He's going to want to try and get out quickly as well.
Yeah,
Obviously,
he's got quite a bit of damage there on the right hand side, so he might be taking a chance to repair that, or him. Yep, and he's coming out now.
yeah, on the old asphalt and tarmac. It's a really weird feeling. Getting in and out of pit lane here is one of the hardest things in the world, because you just go off dirt and then all of a sudden you got all the grip in the world back in the car, and it really throws you off. It's a very strange sensation, and it can really catch you out as well. Obviously, it's a very, very small area for the pit entry, so it's very easy to get caught speeding in pit lane too. So you've got to be really careful here in pit, on pit road. Of course, tyres not going to be much of an issue tonight. The one thing that could be a slight issue is fuel. They might just be a little bit shy on fuel if it goes green for a long period, but the more cautions there are, the more chance there is of not having to worry about needing a fuel stop.
Yeah, we don't know the data, do we? We've got no idea how many sort of laps they can get on a tank of gas, so yeah, we're kind of sort of speculating that they might need to have a bit of a splash at some stage.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing is sometimes it's been a busy week, unfortunately, for all of us, not had the time to do any quick test runs or get any of the data that we normally have sitting with us when we're somewhat prepared. But as I say, tonight it's one of those nights. It's hard to prepare for this as the pace truck goes in. Russell is quick on the accelerator, gets on the pedal as soon as that pace truck hits pit lane, tags the wall on entry into turn one. Gets there quickly. Hobo has got some momentum now, though, because of that tag from Jaden Russell. slowed him down a little bit. Andrew Dyson moving up as well. Dyson on the absolute charge. There's a little bit of contact a little bit further back between Josh Micklemore and Luke Trahair. They make it through. Trahair just gets bumped up against the wall, but he is okay for the moment. The main battle's a little bit further back as Dave Douglas makes a big slide job on Dylan O'Shea at the moment, trying to get underneath O'Shea and underneath Trahair as Pearson hits the wall. Oh, as
Nice recovery.
Trahair just catches the back. Good recovery there from Pearson. That momentum really caught him out, slowed him down an enormous amount. That could have been a big accident. Good awareness by Trahair there and good recovery by Pearson to get that car off the wall and back under post.
Yeah, very good job there. Neil just sort of got up in the middle. Oh, Micklemore's done the same thing. He's slowed into the wall. I think they're only sort of just gently going into the wall.
Got contact. We've got a car around. We're going to get the caution out. Skurlock getting into the back of a purple car there. I think that might have been O'Shea. No, sorry, Nathan Button. Sorry, Nathan Button just sitting up there. Skurlock went for the slide job, and unfortunately, looks like Button didn't quite see that car on the inside. Didn't expect Skurlock to have that momentum underneath him, and has just gone down and caught him there. Easy little mistake to make from Button. Skurlock was a bit optimistic with that move, really trying to charge it forwards, and just caught the back of Button's car there. Unfortunate there for Nathan Button.
Indeed. I'm still just trying to see if I can find the incident in question. No, can't find... Ah, here we go. Let's try this. Go back a little bit. There we go.
So you can see the big slide job there from Skurlock.
Yeah.
He's just got the momentum, and unfortunately Button's sort of taking a slightly different line through there and gets caught up, and then you have a car very, very stationary. Good job for a lot of those drivers to avoid him there. But yeah, very unfortunate there. Skurlock. So it's one of those racing incidents, unfortunately. It's very hard to try and sort of get a pass like that done. You sort of need the awareness of the car on the outside. And in that position, Button would not have known Skurlock was coming. Wouldn't have been able to see him, and his spotter would have just said, car inside, just as that accident was happening.
Yeah, not much you can do there. It's, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know that much about dirt racing. But yeah, it's pretty hard. You can be clear. You be clear there, and then all of a sudden there's a car there, and you've already committed to coming down, or you've committed to going up.
Yeah, it's very hard to change your line and change direction in a situation like that. It's I guess it's tricky because neither of us are really experienced on dirt. We're not exactly the biggest dirt racers.
No. And every time I try and do it, I don't know. Everyone just goes miles faster than me.
I do have a 100% win ratio in officials, so I'm going to stick with that one with my one dirt race that I've ever done.
Well, it's definitely something I wish I could had the chance to do more of. I do like dirt racing, so yeah. Just getting a chance to do it.
Like, it is a very different experience indeed. I was lucky enough to get out in the trucks on Monday night and have a bit of a blast around. Somehow qualified up in 6th position, and I do not understand how that happened because there is no way I'm that fast. So it's a lucky lap from somewhere. But yeah, it was definitely fun, definitely a different experience. And as I say, unwieldy beasts on dirt. These things are not built for dirt racing these days, at least. But of course, stock cars back in the day, the old moonshine days, when that's basically how NASCAR was invented. It was a bit of a mixture of dirt, road, asphalt, whatever you could find to run fast on, really.
It was, yeah. I think they definitely did race on dirt early on days. I think they raced on the beach at Daytona as well on sand, and so. But yeah, I'm not sure I agree with them going back to dirt at the moment, but and then real life stuff. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's it. It's not. Yeah, I'm of the opinion that it doesn't quite. It's an interesting experiment. Maybe for something like the maybe the Duel or something, it would be a fun little experience. But in a championship round, not a huge fan of it. As Matty Ray gets a big snap of oversteer on the start of that restart a little bit further back, but they get away cleanly. It is J. Russ up at front, Hobson behind him, Dyson trying to move up there. Dave Douglas on an absolute flyer in the casting couch at the moment, moving that car up quickly. Josh Mickelmore still sitting back there, but he's got a whole horde of cars behind him, absolutely nibbling at his heels. There is a massive car sitting in behind him at the moment.
Yeah, look at this group back here, sort of around about the 9-10 mark. It's a lot of cars all on top of each other. Oh,
What's
contact.
this contact? A great job of keeping that pointing straight for the driver there. I think that might have been Jake Maloney there in the middle of all of that. Argy Bargy there, great job to keeping that one straight. Because yeah, that was a big, big moment there. Moving his way up the field, Aiden Schultz on an absolute flyer at the moment. He's got the noseless special at the moment, so a little bit of extra cooling on the front end of that car.
Yeah, no nose and no bumper, but he's going great.
Yeah, exactly. Weight reduction. That's what it's about. So he's got an unfair advantage of that slightly lighter car, using that to his whole advantage at the moment.
What are we up to? Lap 32. Oh, feels like we're going for ages. Oh, we put the commentator's curse on him, didn't we? He just hit the wall.
The good old curse of the commentator. One of those things that we are extremely good at. Oh, Andy Barber goes round, and we're going to get a caution for that one. Neil Pearson and Andy Barber making contact as big hit for Pearson. He gets caught in a big way there. That was not fun.
No. Let's have a look at that one.
That was a big accident, and that is going to be painful. So yeah, just getting round the corner, and you see that it looks like Annie Barber just got a big moment of the car just getting grip all of a sudden, and it's just gone up into Pearson, and Pearson just gets absolutely clanged into the wall, and that really smashes them up, and that causes a lot of damage.
It does, and a few guys had nowhere to go and locked up and couldn't avoid it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is tricky. And a lot of these guys they don't have a much experience on dirt, and that's one of the big problems. Is it's for this, and for NASCAR in general. Is these boys, a lot of them, in NASCAR, in sort of the full metal world, they cut their teeth on the old dirt ovals and things like that, but they don't always have a huge experience of racing them, and especially in a car like this, it's not really the easiest thing to handle. You see somebody like Joe, you see the guys up the front, and they make it look almost easy. And then you sort of get down to the midfield, and when you're racing too wide, when you're racing that close with each other, especially on an ever-changing track, it really is not easy to do. It really does make it a lot harder. So once the track starts to get a little bit, once that dirt starts to wear away, once everything gets a bit more compacted, and once that line starts to form as well, you can see it starting to get there. That slickish line there in the middle of the track. It's going to get a little bit more grippy on that section, you can say. And that's going to be interesting to see. That's going to be interesting to see how these cars handle, because I reckon they're going to try and keep on that area, just keep off the loose dirt a little bit. Usually, you want to run on the loose dirt, sort of get the car sort of on there. It tends to work a little bit better. But with these next gen cars, it just, yeah, it seems that sort of that compacted sort of almost area where you don't want to be is the area where you kind of want to be. And it almost pays off to have a slightly smoother driving style. It's a really weird little sort of way of driving it, and it sort of really throws a lot of these guys out.
Does indeed. Sorry, Carl, I'm just distracted dealing with the bitchy trolls in chat tonight. Lots.
Not a problem.
There's probably more bitchy trolls in chat than there is dirt drivers out there tonight, unfortunately.
It can be the way. You get them, unfortunately. As is the joys of streaming on the internet. It is always a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate you all viewing tonight, and we do hope we can bring you some good racing here once we get back to green flag. But she's about to drop as the pace truck pulls in. Jay Russ again away, nice and quick. He is on that throttle quicker than a whippet with a bum full of dynamite. Gets away nicely, tags the wall a little bit with the rear, but that's what you want to do in a dirt race. Slides it around and gets the power down nicely. Away they go. You can see the car bouncing up and down on this track too. Of course, Bristol getting a update as well recently. So there's the slightly updated version, sort of in slash coming, which will be at full use as well. And it has been a real experience getting this sort of whole Cup series on dirt. I mean, you've got to take your hats off to making Bristol a dirt track. It might not be the most popular thing, but it was one heck of a job they did.
Yeah, the effort that the track has gone into to make it and to carve it is really good. And we're only seeing the NASCAR stuff, but there's a lot of dirt racing stuff in America that is racing on the Bristol track. And so I think they've got dirt covering it for a couple of months, and they're doing a lot of racing just pretty much every weekend. It's a
Yeah,
big bold initiative. Yeah, it's pretty good.
yeah, exactly. It's a big. It's definitely it's something that's made it stand out. It's definitely something that's changed it up an awful lot. As Jane Russell is absolutely flying away, 1 second lead at the moment over Hobbo, 2 seconds over Dyson, 4 seconds over Douglas in fourth position. He is absolutely flying away. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, it is just constant action between the cars. At the moment, we've got 14 cars on the lead lap. Daniel Hederscheid is the last of those cars on that lead lap. As just sort of catching. Oh, who was that?
197. Patterson.
Patterson, yeah. Good recovery there. That car almost looped around. It almost did a full pendulum moment. Was just listening to Annie Barber's car as it was going along, and it is just hitting the bumps. And as it hits the bumps, it's just smashing on the rev limiter. And that is not going to do the engine the world of good. That is going to hurt in the latter stages. Especially when you've got damage to the front. That's something you've got to watch out for on board right here. So we'll see on board right now as we go through the corner. Annie Barber getting through the corner right now. Down the straight. As who was that in the inside wall there?
Jason Martin, by the looks of it, I think.
It was indeed. Jason Martin getting very unlucky there, just losing it. He was trying the low line and he's just lost it. The car's looped around. He's tried to slow it down and then tried to squeeze it through. And unfortunately, he's gone past the cones. So I think he'll get a drive-through for that for unsafe pit entry slash exit. He managed to just save it though. But that's not what he wants to have happen. He was already one lap down, and if he's got a penalty, that's going to hurt him enormously.
Yeah, just can't seem to find the session, the event, to be able to get a live replay without doing a full rewind. Oh, actually, tell a lie. I've found it. Here we go. Let's see if we can have a look. I think he sort of maybe just half spun it into the wall there.
Yeah, he sort of he was trying to catch that low line, and then all of a sudden the car gripped up on him at the wrong possible moment, and it went down. And not what he would have wanted. So, first car on the lead lap is Stuart Patterson. So he is now that car on the last of the lead lap. Actually, Luke Trahem might get the lucky dog. Patterson having a good run at the moment, up in 13th. Made a fair few positions as well, up 3 positions. So working his way nicely, and that car is looking relatively clean as well, which is nice. So that 197 is looking relatively damage free, which is a decent thing to have at this stage of the race, because it is not easy keeping these cars looking without too much damage. A car that has barely any damage on it, to nobody's surprise, is Maddie Ray. His car is looking as clean as anything. Maybe the slight little bump here and there, but there is barely a dent on that thing, as is always the MO for Mr. Matty Raymond, who has worked up a couple of positions as well. Neil Pearson keeping his car up there. I reckon he's going to have some engine damage from that earlier incident. Looks like he had quite a big hit in the red flavoured DPR car, but he's keeping it up there and he's having a solid run at the moment. And he'll want that tonight, especially for championship positions. Something we didn't get a chance to do before the start of the race actually was go through the championship. So while we're under caution, it is Brenton Hobson in the lead of the championship. We had a change of position, and it is Hobbo leading the championship for the first time in his ANZCAR career. Great job from him after that win last time out. He has got a 5 point advantage over Neil Pearson in second. 7 points back in third is Andrew Dyson. Edward Foster, 8 points off the lead in fourth position. Fifth is Michael Skurlock, 20 points down. 25 points down in sixth is Jason Martin. Brad Allison in seventh, 30 points off the lead. 42 points down is Danny G in eighth. Ninth is Philip Worley, 45 off the lead. And 56 points down is Ruben Phelps in 10th. So there's going to be a bit of a swap in the championship tonight, especially on the dirt, of course, because there's a few drivers out there that, well, there's a few people that are not out there tonight as well, which makes a difference. But a few drivers out there that can really get a big jump up in the championship tonight, and this could really help them lock them into the top 20 crucially, but also get them in a decent spot for the rest of the season.
Yeah, there's a few guys down the back. I'd just make sure you have a good solid finish because it good chance of getting some points and getting into that top 20 to get the automatic qualifying for the next races.
Absolutely, that is one of the big things, of course, and one of the aspects of the ANZCAR series. Of course, the top 20 are locked into the race, and then the final 10 qualify in. Pace truck has gone in, and once again, J Russ is right on the accelerator pedal, gets away nicely. Dyson gets a good launch on the low line. He is sliding it underneath, trying to get the slide job done on Hobbo, but Hobbo is saying no, thank you. Dave Douglas, meanwhile, tries to do it. Skurlock working his way back up towards the top. That high line is really, really bumpy. As Jaden Russell loses it a little bit, and that has lost him the lead. Hobbo takes the lead of the race. Jaden Russell slips back. He slipped back right down towards Dave Douglas right now. His local Skurlock sitting there as well as the caution flag flies. Trying to figure out what that was
Yeah. The session events have lit up pretty red. So just trying to work out which one of them was the one that brought the caution out.
Yeah, this is always the hard part. We'll try and figure out what happened there, as so it's a tricky thing to do. But yeah, up at the front, Hobbo actually caught the wall pretty hard on the exit of the corner. He managed to keep it going though and make it past J Russ. Just going back to see if I could spot it myself before my producer, Mr. Matty Hunter, can. Of course, it's one of the tricky things with the old broadcasting. It's you only have so many screens, unfortunately, in front of you, so it's not the easiest thing to do to spot what happens.
Well,
And
what's happening also is because there's a lot of contact and stuff between drivers and incident points happening, it's causing a lot of session events. So it's actually just trying to work out which one is actually a crash and which one's just contact with the wall.
Paul Jackson. So there we go. Finally found it. Paul Jackson has lost it and looped it around. So Paul Jackson just losing the rear of that car, the Aotearoa Aurora Racing entry. One day I will pronounce it correctly, Matt.
Aotearoa, yeah, that's right. I'm a Kiwi and I live in New Zealand, and my pronunciation's still terrible. So
I'm Paul, and I've had his teammates send me clips to pronounce it properly. One day it will happen. But still, yeah, just unlucky there for Jackson, just losing the rear a little bit, and unlucky to get the caution flag out as well because it was kind of off the line as well. So it was one of those cautions that unfortunately iRacing threw up, just deciding, yep, we're going to throw the caution flag out.
yeah, I couldn't see exactly which one it was that caused that. Never mind.
So yeah. So alrighty. So we're getting back to it again, and this time we've got a new leader in Brenton Hobson. So how is he going to restart it? Jaden Russell getting an absolute horror of a restart there. Just lost traction. One of the things I was saying beforehand was just up on that high side. It is really, really bumpy. It is not the place to be by the looks of things. The cars are going to want to stick to the middle of the track, I reckon, down the straights, because up on the high line it is so very bumpy. They're getting just getting the car loose on the entry to the corners. So interesting to see there, and interesting to see how that changes things as well. Currently, biggest mover of the night is Mr. Dylan O'Shea and Daniel Hedershed. Both of them having an absolute blinder tonight. Both up a fair few positions, up 16 spots at the moment. O'Shea really having a good run in the pink flavoured DPR car, and Hedershed in the Natari car, currently in 10th position. Just behind him, Riley Curtis up 14 positions as well. Veteran of the series, Riley Curtis. So some big movers out there at the moment, and they're going to want to keep that going. But they line up 2 by 2 once more. It's Synergy up the front with DPR on the outside in the orange flavoured Dyson variety. How is Hobson going to handle this restart? Pace car will be peeling into pit lane very shortly. And the 88 goes, waits a little bit longer, gets on the throttle, on the straight a little bit. A little bit tricky with the lane changing here, of course, because the car's not exactly wanting to go straight as Hobson gets up into the wall. You can see the sparks flying off the rear spoiler of that car, but doesn't lose him any pace. He is absolutely gunning for it at the moment. Dyson just behind him. This is the championship leaders up here at the moment. Neil Pearson a little bit further back, but these are the guys that are fighting it out for the championship at the moment. And then look at Jaden Russell with a massive slide job on Daiso there. They made contact into each other. Dyson holds it. Great job from Daiso holding that car straight. Very good car control indeed, but that's something we know Dyson is good at. Jaden Russell really, really going for that slide job. Did not pay off for him that time. He's going to have to rethink his plan of attack again for that second place. But it is Hobson in the lead, and he's going to be... Oh, he catches the wall. Hobson caught the wall. That's going to slow him down. That's going to lose him a lot of momentum there. He falls back a little bit, but he's still in the lead. He manages to keep it going in a straight line for now. But Jaden Russell is all over the back of Dyson at the moment. He's really, really trying to put the pressure on Dyson. Dyson is holding off beautifully up the front. 41 versus the 28 at the moment. J. Russ is really putting the pressure on. When will he go? Will he be able to make that slide job work? He tries to get underneath. It's got a good little bit of traction.
He's getting close now. Oh, hits him. Gives him a tap in the rear. Dyson's holding on though.
Dyson's making that high line really work for him, but J. Russ has got a good slide job this time. Gets underneath Dyson, moves it up. Dyson's going to have to try and get down, get underneath Jaden Russell. Will he be able to do it? No, he can't. Jaden Russell gets there, loses a tail, fishtails it down the straight there. That's given Dyson the opportunity to make the move back. Doesn't quite make it pay off. Jaden Russell back up into P2. Beautiful bit of racing between the two drivers there up the front for P2.
Yeah, it's good to see. Really good pass there. Really good racing.
Fantastic stuff. This is the action we'd love to see, of course. And we don't want to see too many cautions. We don't want to see these cars driving under a yellow. We want to see them racing and racing hard, and that's exactly what they're doing at the moment. Great stuff there from the drivers. Really good racecraft and race control as well. That was a beautiful, beautiful drive. Great defensive driving from Dyson. Great attacking drive from Jaden Russell. And now Michael Skurlock's thinking, get out of the section. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, the DPR cars of O'Shea and Pearson are putting on the pressure of Douglas. And watch out for Hedershed as well. He is on the move too. Daniel Hedershed getting up underneath the casting couch there, trying to get the run. Hedershed working his way from the back to the front tonight. And he is moving his way forwards as we've got a car around it. It's Jason Martin and Joshua Carroll Walden, I believe. Caution flag is out as there was an incident a little bit further back as Joshua Carroll Walden and Stuart Patterson just get into each other, and then that causes them to go down, and then unfortunately Jason Martin is the innocent bystander in that one. gets absolutely smacked. Meanwhile, Michael Scarlett had to take some real big avoiding action and it's taken out the pit entry cone. But you can see there, just gets into contact, and then Jason Martin heavy into the side of that Atari car, the 35 of Joshua Carroll Walden.
Yeah, another big hit there. Not much you can do about it. Let's see if we can go back a bit more and slow it down. Here we are. See if we can do an onboard.
Yeah, see how tricky it is from the onboard section, and you're literally just sitting there, and all of a sudden get a car coming across in front of you, and there's nothing you can do in that situation. You've got very little peripheral vision in these cars, of course. The cameras do tell a bit of a lie of how much vision you get, because you can actually turn the cameras to the left, to the right a little bit, which helps out when you're driving these things. Literally, all you can see is pretty much that dashboard in front of you and the window. And even then, there's not much visibility out of these things with the big A pillars they've got and the roll cages around them.
Yeah, I know that when we're on the non-dirt Bristol, it's hard to see around the A pillar, and you can there could be like a wreck or cars across the track up in front of you, but because of the way you're coming around the corner and that and the pillar blocks it, you can sometimes you can see it very late, so you end up piling into cautions and not braking in time. So I wonder if a bit of that's going on as well.
Yeah, that is definitely a problem. It's something I've experienced a few times myself. As you sort of going into a corner, especially on some of the much shorter tracks. You sort of go into a corner, and then all of a sudden you sort of come around the corner and find a car in front of you. You're like, where did that come from? It was hidden completely by the A-pillar. It is a ever scary thing. I think the worst car for it is the old 87s. Some of them have got the visibility of a well, I think you've got better visibility out of a tank most of the time. So it's definitely an interesting experience.
I think I don't know if you listened to the Dale Junior Download podcast. He told a story about how Senior would whack the bottom out of the floor so that the seat would sit lower, so he could see around the corner a bit better, eh? So he could see around that A pillar.
I am absolutely not surprised. I It's one of the things I love about motorsport, especially old motorsport, is the dodgy crap that used to go on.
Yeah, it's great.
It is some of the best stuff. I mean, back when they were racing in cars that really should not have been racing,
Uh,
it was fun stuff. And, you know, some of the stories you get out of motorsport are just, yeah, just going,
the
how did
stories
you
about
not?
the lead were yeah. If you ever listen to the Daryl Watchett one, the stories about the lead and what they used to do for that to make weight
Yeah,
was hilarious.
but I've led in the fuel tank. Old Tyrrell trip as well, that
Lead
one.
in the chassis rail, and yeah, when you're in
Yeah.
the race, you open it up and let it all run out. And you put the hole
Oh,
right where the jack is, so when they put the jack in, they could never find it.
exactly. Oh, Jade Russell gets really loose on the restart there.
Oh, it's
Big slide job, and that's caused a big accident behind. We're going to get a caution, are we? If
still
we
grand.
don't, then that's going to be a real big loss for. That was a big one, and we don't get a caution. And that's a lot of drivers caught up in that. We've got people like Paul Jackson caught up in that, Joyce Schultz, the whole of the backfield pretty much caught up in that one. No caution flag for it. That was devastating. And I think one of the drivers that actually got kind of through that without too much issue was actual Josh Micklemore. But a lot of other drivers really caught up badly in that. A lot of damage to those cars. But that has given Brendan Hobson the chance to really get away. So, a few drivers having to come in, I think, to serve penalties as well. And that's something else that we've got to talk about tonight is the old penalty as well, because you will get a penalty at
12 incident points.
6,
So,
16 instant points.
oh, so 16
It's
tonight.
increased, yeah, increased
Cool.
tonight. So that's why I had to think about it. Sorry. So 16 instant points, you will get a drive through. 20, you will get disqualified. So it's a little bit more lenient because it is a dirt race, but you still have to be careful. So a few drivers having to serve those penalties, and those will sort of stack up when you make contact with the car in front of you. When you make contact with cars, obviously it's not too severe. It doesn't actually ping you for contact with the wall, luckily, because I think if it did, we would not have a single car finishing tonight.
Yeah, you can probably scrape the wall and get a 0x.
Yeah, it is very lucky in that respect. A
But
lot of cars going, oh, who was that?
unfor
Norman.
unfortunately for the guys at the back, because they would have checked up quite a bit to avoid that wreck, they'll be in danger of being caught and lapped pretty quickly here.
They will be. Norman Clark and Greg Spencer just getting into each other, and they just did that right in front of the leader, and they just managed to get it turned around and keep it moving, so the caution flag didn't come out. But Hobbo would have seen that and just had a big, big moment of gulping. Meanwhile, all the battle between Douglas and Pearson really going on. Jackson caught in there as well with Luke Traher, who is really pushing it in the way down machine, just giving Pearson a little bit of a tap in the rear there, giving him a gentle nudge.
Man, these cars are not very clean, but they're still going fast.
That's it. Not a straight body panel to be seen.
No. Look at Pearson's car there hitting the bumps down on the straight. Oh, we do have a caution.
Caution flag flies. Jai Schultz, I believe, is the cause of that one, as he's just lost the rear of that one completely as it spins around and brings out the caution. I do not know how the caution flag didn't come out for that last restart, in all honesty, because that was...
No, it was definitely caution worthy, that's for sure.
A lot of people get unlucky with that, but this caution will help check it up a little bit for the drivers. It's going to help them get a little bit closer, but yeah, that really caught out a lot of drivers, and yeah, that's really going to hurt them. That's really cost a lot of drivers. So everybody down to 11th is now lapped, so 12 down. So I think Norman Clark might get a lucky dog on this one.
Yeah, did Norman... He's got the lucky dog already, maybe? Because he was a lap down, and he's not showing as a lap down on the scoring, so I think he might have already gone around for his lucky dog.
See how that one pays out. But that would be nice news for him if it goes. But yeah, going back to the old cheating in motorsport thing, I remember back, I think it was the 70s. Now, I'm pretty sure it was Tyrrell, or I'm pretty sure it was Tyrrell. And at the end of the race, the mechanics would head on over and stand next to the car and have a sort of nice big bit of lead up their sleeves and sort of slip it into the fuel tank at the end of the race. Just to add a little bit of extra weight to make sure the car passes it.
Well,
And a couple of drivers doing it in their pockets as well to get to the minimum weight requirements.
Daryl Woodrup was telling the story about how they had these helmets made out of lead because the helmet had to sit in the car. So when it went in and got weighed, it had this lead helmet sitting in there. And then obviously once it got past the further weighing, they'd get the real helmet and put the real helmet on, take the lead one away. But just
that's
clever
beautiful.
little innovation tricks like that. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, there is cheating in motorsport, but there is also bending the rules in a fun way, and that's the thing that we love so much in motorsport.
Some of the stuff that Junior Johnson did is yeah, he's a pretty interesting guy, that guy.
Yeah. There is a lot of dodgy stuff that goes on in motorsport, which is always fun. And it goes on from grassroots up to the top end, which is my favourite thing, is everybody's looking for that little advantage, and they will try any little thing to get it. And it is just, some of the stuff that they do. Of course,
for me, being a huge Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus fan, Chad was, probably known as one of the best innovators, I guess you could say, or boundary pushers. A lot of people think he was a big cheat a lot of the time. Yeah.
A couple of little moments.
He had a few holidays.
Oh yeah, it's and glorious stuff, and it's unfortunately can't really. It's not something that could be done in sim racing, luckily. So it does keep it a little bit more equal. We won't go into detail of other things, though, unfortunately, but luckily those all get looked at and put through as we go back to green flag racing. Dylan O'Shea making a move on Dave Douglas, really pushing forwards, getting up past him at the moment. O'Shea, one of the biggest movers in the field at the moment, up 19 spots. He's currently sitting in third position. That's a really good run for him. He's hoping for a good, solid run tonight. Jaden Russell, I think we might be out of this race, unfortunately. So we've lost Jaden Russell. As we've got a car going back around. Who was that
Yeah, another caution.
spinning? I think that might have been Aiden Schultz. Bit hard to see because there's barely any car left of his. I just saw a little flash of purple, but unfortunately it's just gone in, overcooked it a little bit. He's gone in a bit too hard and unfortunately a bit too sideways, and Greg Spence had nowhere to go other than the side of that car.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Spencer there. But Aiden just losing control in the corner there, like so many other people have tonight as well. And poor old Spencer had nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to do. Like, it's easy to get caught up in, of course, and easy to get caught there, and easy to make that mistake as well. And yeah, it's an unfortunate thing when it happens.
Let's try a bit of a through the field sort of summary quickly while we're into caution, so to get a bit of an idea on how people's races have been going.
So up front, it is Brenton Hobson who has made a couple of moves up there. Andrew Dyson up in second. Dylan O'Shea, the biggest mover at the moment, 19 spots gained in the DPR car, the pink flavour. Dave Douglas having a solid run in the 10, up 2 spots. Neil Pearson up 7 positions in 5th position in the red flavour of DPR car. Then we have Luke Trahair in the way down machine. After Dark Racing, of course, 43, the Way Down podcast, of course. If you're into MMA, check it out. Riley Curtis and Josh Mickelmore at 7th and 8th. 9th and 10th, we have Hedeshide, one of the other big movers, of course. He's lost the front end of that car, bit of damage. And Matty Ray up in 10th at the moment, having a solid run. Nathan Button, Norman Clark in 11th from 12th. And 13th is Stuart Patterson, the last of our runners on the lead lap.
Just keeping it clean, keeping out of trouble. If you keep it clean and keep it out of trouble, you get a good solid finish.
That is absolutely the plan, and I think that is a really good strategy tonight, because it is one of those nights where you can really gain a lot of positions. You can gain some really good championship points tonight as well, and we could see some people moving themselves up into a solid spot tonight after this race, because if you just keep it clean and out of trouble, you're going to move into a good position, I think. A few drivers out as well. Currently, Jaden Russell, Jamie Nankervis, looking like they're both out of this race. Jamie Nankervis might make it out again. Jason Martin looking like his night might be run. No, he's back out there. Sorry, Jason Martin is back out there. Missing a bonnet, but he's back out there. Greg Spencer still out there in 23rd. Jake Maloney out of the race, as well as Gary Werman and Raymond Yeager in 26th position. So a few people out. So a few people are out, and there's a few positions to gain still if you keep it out there, because you can get past people. But they are lining up 2 by 2 once more. It is Mr. Hobson in the lead ahead of Dyson, O'Shea and Douglas, getting ready for this restart. We have 38 laps remaining. We are very much getting towards the end of this race at the dirty, dirty track of Bristol Motor Speedway.
And Hobson gets the jump there. It's a good jump again. I think it's going to be pretty hard to beat from here. Jump back to Hobson. The battle for 3rd and 4th. For O'Shea and Douglas, they're having a really good battle back and forward.
Yeah, really good fight between O'Shea and Douglas is wanting very much to get up there tonight. And watch out for Luke Traherne as well. He's been having a good run. Neil Pearson, also a bit of a dark horse tonight. Not known for his dirt prowess possibly, but he has been having a really good solid run out there. Rubbing a few bumpers, things like that. Dave Douglas gets a bit loose, gets a bit squirrely, and that's going to drop him off the pace a little bit. That's going to put him down into the grasp of Pearson and Traherne at the moment. But it is Hobson who's got away nicely. He's in at the lead. He is trying to fend off the slightly camouflaged car of Andrew Dyson with the orange at the moment. As Luke Traherne goes for a big slide job and gets underneath Neil Pearson. Josh Mickelmore now making a move as well, and Daniel Hennessy on the back too. Pearson just losing a few positions, losing a little bit of momentum in the red flavour of DPR car, and that's cost him a couple of spots. Meanwhile, O'Shea is catching on Dyson at the moment. Watch out for O'Shea. He could well move himself up into P2, and he could be one of those drivers that move themselves up into the chance of getting a victory tonight as well if he moves up there nicely. But you've got to say Hobson at the moment is in full control at the front. He is really building out a nice lead. Got a good couple of seconds, 2-second lead over the rest at the moment. It's between Dyson and O'Shea for second as it stands at the moment. But there is the ever-present. Oh, Dyson just gets up into the wall again, loses a bit of momentum, gets caught on that cushion up on the wall. You can barely see the barrier now up on the wall because of that big cushion of dirt up there. Those barriers are pretty high. But the dirt cushion is now basically as high as the dirt cushion as the caution flag is out again for Stuart Patterson. Oh, gets caught in the rear by Greg Spencer and then gets around. Unfortunately, can't quite catch it. So just see here, gets up on there and then a little bit of caught there. He was sort of trying to catch it all the way down the straight there. Had a big moment. Again, one of those little racing incidents.
Just a product of Bristol. We're racing right beside each other and on top of each other, really. And once she goes fishtailing, it's pretty hard to catch on the dirt.
Yeah, you get that pendulum effect on these cars as well, and it's very hard to get it pointing back the way you want it to when it starts swinging around. And once obviously not a lot of weight over the rear axle, but quite a lot over the front axle of these cars. But once that rear starts swinging out in a big way, then the front starts coming around, and she becomes harder and harder to get right.
Does indeed.
Jaden Russell just apologising, just saw up in the chat to the people who got caught in that restart. First time starting it up on the high side and didn't expect the amount of wheel spin he got, caught him out in a big way and took him out of the race, unfortunately. Good to see him coming down, just sort of saying, look, sorry guys about that. You know, it's always a big thing we say in motorsport is, you know, when you make a mistake, own up to it because you know it makes a big difference and gets you a lot of respect in the paddock.
I'm just quickly reading a comment here about Stu used to do NZ Superstock racing. That's quite interesting if he did. That's pretty cool. We over here we have dirt. Obviously, our dirt racing. We have stock cars.
Yeah.
And we have sort of I don't know, sort of premier classes, super stocks, and they're full contact. So yeah, you see some pretty big hits and rollovers and stuff, and yeah, so they've given me a bit of an inspiration for a fun race idea going to be coming up soon, actually.
Oh, that could be interesting. That's a dangerous thing.
Well, yeah, what they do every year, they have a teams event, and so you have I think it's 4 cars per team, and you have a whole bunch of different regions in New Zealand, and they put in a team and of these super stocks, and yeah, they just go for it. They're mad, man. Big hits, concrete walls. Yeah, check it out.
You've got to. It's one of those things when drivers when you race like a full contact series or something like that, it is an absolute mad thing to do because you know it's not exactly comfortable. You know you've got the safety cells, you've got the seats, you've got the padding, you've got the crash helmet, you've got the suits, but even so, when you're in a car that wrecks, it's still it still stinks. It's not a comfortable thing, and basically something like that, you're actually, you're happy to make contact like that. The day after, I imagine the bruises would not be so fun.
Oh, I mean, super socks. I mean, the concrete wall doesn't give, and the cars are really strong and they don't give. So it's the body that gives.
That, one thing that has to give is the body.
Yeah, something has to give in any collision like that.
Crashing in motorsport is never fun, but it's something like that. You know, I think it depends how many beers you have afterwards, how bad it is. We get back to green flag racing again. O'Shea gets a great restart this time, really putting the pressure on Hobson. Hobson gets up, touches the wall again. He's really pushing it up on that outside wall, really drifting it up on that high side at the moment. Getting a good run using that dirt barring, that dirt bank, I should say, that cushion of dirt to his advantage at the moment. Really getting good traction around the outside. He's making it pay off for him. As all just behind him, O'Shea and Dyson really pushing each other as well. They are racing hard. Then you've got Dave Douglas, Luke Trahair, and then Daniel Hennischeid as well, who's really making a move with Riley Curtis. Riley Curtis has been very quiet tonight. We've not really mentioned him much, but he's having a fantastic drive up into P7. Josh Ricklemore sitting just behind him with Neil Pearson. Maddie Ray in 10th at the moment, as all around goes Aidan Schultz, I believe, and big accident again down the front straight.
Yeah, look and see what we can find.
Looks like. See what happened. Oh, Aidan Schultz just
Oh,
lost the rear
lost it off the
down the
corner, yeah.
straight and gone heavily into. I believe that might be his teammate of Andy Barber making his debut here tonight. Andy Barber getting tagged in a huge way. Big damage. And that's going to be his night over. His engine is donezo.
Unlucky. Yeah, look at that smoking engine.
Yeah, that was a heavy hit to the inside wall, and that's the problem. Is sometimes you sometimes get knocked in these cars and get absolutely no damage, and you're fine. But when you get a big heavy impact into the wall like that, especially front on, when you've got nothing there to protect the radiator, that is going to be the engine dead and done, and that can be a lengthy repair job there. So I think that might be the end of his night, unfortunately. But it is sometimes the case you sort of get damaged sometimes in stock car racing where you think it's rather innocuous, it's rather sort of innocent looking damage. There's barely anything to it, and it could be a huge repair job needed. And then other times you can sort of roll it 7 times, and it's only a quick buff and a polish, and you're back out on the track, and it's absolutely fine. There's certain things on these cars that can absolutely snap if they're hit in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I know that whenever if I even just look at the wall the wrong way and get blow an engine from it. At least that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, that's it. I think it depends on luck as well. You see some people that they roll 20 times, hit the wall hard, end up just back on their wheels, drive on without any damage at all, and then all of a sudden you just tap the wall at 1 kilometer per hour, and your whole engine falls out, and you just go, "Oh, is that possible? Why me?"
Well, last night I think I went end over end twice, flipping, and landed and was fine, but with damage obviously. But I slid and just into the wall, and that was enough to damage the engine.
That's it.
So I've taken I flipped a couple of times, and the engine was fine. It was just a little
Yeah.
bump into the wall at the end of the whole thing that caused it to smoke.
They need to start putting in the actual oil model in the engine. So when you do roll, all the oil comes from the engine, all drips out, and the engine absolutely buggers up. We've had that happen a few times in Full Metal Motorsport. Remember an old Chrysler Lancer that we rolled in a Carnacross event, and managed to get it restarted, but all the oil had basically pulled up at the amount of smoke. I think we smoked out the whole of South Australia that day when that thing turned back over. It was an interesting experience. I think there is still a smoke cloud in South Australia from that car. So yeah, it's a big one. But we are back at the front. They are getting 2 by 2 once again. Hobson in the lead with O'Shea on the outside. It's Dyson, Douglas, Trahair, Hedershide, Curtis, Micklemore, Pearson, Raymond, Button, Patterson, Clark on the lead lap at the moment. Michael Scullop, first car off the lead lap. He is the first car a lap down. So if we get another caution, he can get that lucky dog and get back in this race. But we're about to go green. Hobson lures O'Shea into trying to go a little bit early, catches him off guard a little bit, gets a good restart there. O'Shea has to lift off a little bit, has to stab the brake. Hobson gets a great restart there. Same for Dave Douglas. Douglas on the high side of Dyson at the moment. Dyson going down the inside. Slide job for Dyson. Slides up between O'Shea and Douglas there. Great driving as he gets up between them, gets up into third at the moment. Douglas really pushing it, trying to get up into that position as it stands. Really fighting it hard. The battle for third position is really on at the moment. And getting into this fight now is Daniel Hedershide as well, working his way all the way from the back as there's contact between Douglas and Dyson. Douglas goes down. He moves down the inside, manages to save the car. Going to lose a little bit of speed from that. He's going to fall back a tiny bit, and this could be the opportunity for somebody like Hedershide to get the move. Hedershide gets up, gets into Dyson, and around Hedershide goes. And Dyson gets caught in pit lane.
Oof.
That is disastrous for Dyson, as he's going to have to drive through pit lane.
Well, I think he might be lucky he won't have a speeding penalty from it. Normally you hit it at a too fast and you end up with a speeding penalty. But I think he might get away with this one. But he's still going to lose a number of spots. But if he picked up a penalty and having to run through the pits under green, he'd lose a couple of laps probably.
Yeah, that will be even more painful than that. That's a painful moment, and that's painful as well. Hedershide as well, he was having a great run, just maybe leaving it a little bit too late to make the move, and just gets caught there in the slide and just gets that door-on-door contact. But unfortunately, pivots around a bit too much, and around she goes. And that has helped out up at the front. That's really been a boon for Dylan O'Shea and Dave Douglas, because that has taken Andrew Dyson out of the mix in that little battle for now. Watch out for that one as Skurlock goes flying around the outside, getting his lead lap back. I said watch out for Skurly. He's back on the lead lap now. So the moustache is going to be going for it, and he is going to be pushing hard to try and get a decent finishing position tonight. I think Skurlock he's got some pace in that car. He's just had some got caught up in some big incidents and fallen back. Looking through the big movers at the moment, it is Dylan O'Shea, the biggest of the movers, 20 positions gained. Same as Riley Curtis, actually, both of them on 20. Riley Curtis down in 5th at the moment. Really good run for both of those drivers. So they are going to be really pushing it. Currently, lead lap drivers Michael Skurlock, Dyson, Patterson, Clark, Hedershide, Button, Raymond, Micklemore, Pearson, Curtis, Trahair, Douglas, O'Shea, and of course, our leader, Brenton Hobson. We have 13 laps remaining, Matt. It's getting to that end of the race period. Who is going to take this one out?
Yeah, definitely be a lot less give and take now. Be definitely pretty aggressive. I do say we might see another caution or two. It'd be interesting to see how Skurlock can go now. He's back on the lead lap. See if he can get back up and look for a strong run too from Dyson. I think Dyson will carve his way back through the field, but I don't know if he's going to have enough green flag laps to be able to get back up to the front.
Yeah, he's. If anyone can do it, Dyson can. I think he's got some speed. He's one of those drivers that's he's surprised us in the past. He definitely can pull out some surprises, and we'll see how this one plays out. We've still got that little bit of race remaining. It's going to be an absolute shootout to the end here, I think, and yeah, not long to go. Obviously, Bristol not the longest of tracks, only 80 meters long.
No, it's not 80 meters. It's half mile, isn't it?
Yeah.
World's fastest half mile. Is that this
Yeah.
one? No, Dover's a mile. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Dover's the fastest mile. I don't know. I don't know what the catchphrases they use. I don't remember.
Yeah. It's Thunder Canyon.
I know Bristol's the last great Coliseum, so
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
yeah.
that's too many. There's too many different catchphrases these days. Uh,
Here we
but we
go.
get back to green flag racing. Hobson does not waste a moment getting on the accelerator, gets on it mid corner, gets away nicely. O'Shea tries to get the move done as well. He's really desperate to try and get a move done on Hobson before he can get away, but can't quite make it. Hobson catches the wall though. This could be O'Shea's chance to make the move. Hobson loses momentum down the straight line. O'Shea on the inside. O'Shea's trying that low line. Hobson on the high line at the moment. And O'Shea's got a really good run here. He's got an opportunity to get the lead. Hobson up into the wall, catches heavy. That's going to cost him momentum. O'Shea should get a better run out the corner. Trahair getting a big tag slapper across the front line as he is side by side with Riley Curtis at the moment. Riley Curtis moving up. Hobson's got a good run off the corner, though. It is the battle for the lead between Hobson and O'Shea at the moment. They are fighting it out. Hobson running it up as the caution flag flies once more for Norman Clark, I believe, as contact between Norman Clark and Greg Spencer just turns Norman around, and he has to very, very carefully weave that car out of the pit lane. Unfortunately, that causes the yellow flag to appear. Of course, Norman, no stranger to dirt roads and bumpy tracks. Of course, a former driver in South African rallies and South African. Well, lots of things over in South Africa. Pretty much, you name it from the 70s and the 80s, he's probably driven it and driven it in South Africa fast. He has got a lot of experience in that respect. Having a fairly solid run at the moment. He's currently the last of the cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, Norman's got a lot of experience. The veteran of the ANZCAR. One of our favourite veterans.
That is it. Yeah,
Veteran drivers. I don't know if he served in the army. I've just realised that veteran, the word veteran could mean, I don't know if he served or anything, but he's an older driver, is what I'm trying to say, and much respected older driver.
That's it. I don't know if Norman served in the Boer War, but it's possible. That's going to get me black. Brent Thompson up at the front at the moment. O'Shea, I think that was kind of fortuitous to Hobson, that caution, because O'Shea had him on the ropes there a couple of moments. Hobson getting caught up in the wall, he slowed him down a fair bit, and that gave O'Shea a bit of a run. At the moment, Dave Douglas up there in third position. Riley Curtis moved his way up nicely as well. Riley Curtis now up 21 positions. Biggest mover of the night, Riley Curtis.
Yeah, it's just been just so quiet. Like we've barely mentioned him, and we've barely had him on camera, and he's just worked his way up to the front. It's a great drive.
That's usually the way for Riley, though, isn't it? He tends to be one of those drivers that will just quietly work his way through the field, a bit like Maddie Ray, who's down in 8th position at the moment. But he's one of those drivers that will just quietly work his way through the field. You don't tend to notice him too much. It's sort of just will be there. And then at the end of the race, you look at the results and go, where did you come from? How did you get up there so quickly? But Riley's done a fantastic job of working his way through traffic tonight. Avoiding incidents as well. That car is relatively clean, considering a bit of damage on the right front, but other than that, there's barely a scrape on it.
That damage is probably just from a little bit of contact with the wall as well. Other than that, the car's pretty clean.
Quite a lot of dirt across the nose, but yeah, it's definitely looking good there. So having a really good run. He's got Luke Trahair right behind him with Neil Pearson. So they're going to want a good run, and watch out for Josh McElmore as well. He could have a good restart. If he has a good restart, he could work his way up through the field as well. We've also got Hedershide and Andrew Dyson. They're going to be starting next to each other on this restart. So that battle will commence, and those two will be thinking back a few laps where they were racing it out for the third position. But we are getting ready to go back to green flag racing. O'Shea is sitting right next to Hobson, listening to that engine note, waiting for that moment to drop the accelerator. Look at how close these two are. Riley Curtis just sitting back a tiny bit at the moment. They're waiting. When is he going to drop it? Hobson is waiting. He's really testing the patience now. And he's waited
Yeah.
for O'Shea just to move forwards a little bit. He waited for O'Shea just to accelerate. He needed to lift off the accelerator, let the car breathe so he didn't jump ahead, and then put his foot down. A beautiful restart there from Hobson.
Yeah, it was a pretty good job there on that restart, wasn't it?
That was
Oh,
perfect. Oh, huge bump down the front, down the back straight there, catching Riley Curtis
Riley,
out.
we had both back wheels off the ground. That's a big pump.
Yeah, that was
And
that was
Dyson's just carving through them in the middle of them.
yeah. Dyson is absolutely having a blinder now. 1.5 laps remaining. White flag will be out this time around as we are coming towards the end. Andrew Dyson having a great recovery drive. He's moving his way up. Will he be able to get up on the podium? He's going to try it. The white flag is out. It is Hobson in the lead at the moment. O'Shea in second. Douglas in third position. Hobson just has to make it around half a lap to get this one. Will it be the second victory for Brenton Hobson? Like buses, they come in pairs, and it is going to be a second victory for Brenton Hobson. Dylan O'Shea is going to come home second with
Oh,
Dave
there's a big
Douglas
wreck
in
at the
third, and
back.
Riley Curtis is rolling. Riley Curtis is on his roof as he goes across. Sorry, Neil Pearson is on his roof. Sorry, Pearson crosses the line,
On his
but
roof.
he's done a turtle and he's ended up on his roof. Um, him and Luke Trahead got caught up, and yeah, Pearson rolls it, and he does he has he crossed the line? No, I don't think.
Oh no.
I don't think he made it. I think he was.
Oh no.
He was.
Surely.
He was a millimeter shy of the line.
Oh.
Oh, he needed somebody just to give him a little nudge there. You could see the seam there for the line, and Neil Pearson has ended up on his roof. Oh, so tantalizingly close from the line, and that's dropped him down a lap because of that. That finish. That is just cruel, cruel. But that has meant that Dave Douglas has got third position. Andrew Dyson, great recovery up into fourth. Riley Curtis, big mover of the night. Not the biggest, well, joint biggest mover of the night with Dylan O'Shea, up in fifth position. Daniel Hedderscheid as well, 20 positions gained in sixth position. Michael Skurlock made it back to seventh after being a lap down. That lucky dog really helped him out. Luke Traher dropped down to eighth position. Maddie Ray down in ninth. Josh Micklemore in 10th. Great drive there from uh, Neil Pearson. That is just so unlucky. Nathan Button in 11th. 12th, Paul Jackson. Neil Pearson, 13th as well. Unlucky 13. And yeah, that just proves it. 14th for Norman Clark. Patterson in 15th. 16th for Joshua Carroll and Jai Schultz 17th. 18th is Barber Schultz. That's Aidan Schultz in 19th position. Jason Martin managed to get the car back into 20th position. Then we roll over Greg Spencer 21st. Jamie Nankervis 22nd. Jaden Russell 23rd after having a great run. Jack Mullaney 24th after having a good run as well in the early stages. Gary Wellman and Raymond Yeager, the final car to not finish tonight in 26th position. Oh, Matt, that was up the front. It wasn't quite as exciting, but in that mid pack, that was an absolutely crazy finish. And yeah,
Yeah.
just oh, what can you say? Neil Pearson just
Oh, unlucky
uh,
for Neil. Yeah,
that is that's one of the unluckiest things I've seen in a long time.
and and
Um,
and Dyson charging from 10th to finish fourth in about 4 or 5 laps.
yeah,
Uh,
great recovery drive
Great
from
recovery for
Dyson.
him.
Hedderscheid as well, also
Sixth,
sort of
yeah,
getting
yep.
back up there after that, and Skurlock as well. We said Skurlock was down a lap before the lucky dog, and we said watch out for his recovery drive, and he recovered well because he made his way up to seventh place. So yeah, he definitely had a charge up there. We kind of expected a bit of chaos tonight, and we did see it. But up the front, we saw some great racing. And it was Brenton Hobson taking his second victory. That is a great job from him, and he is going to be dead chuffed with that one.
Yeah, two in a row as well. Obviously, we skipped Martinsville with the maintenance. Uh, an opportune time for us. But yeah, I think that's two in a row. He was struggling to get that breakthrough one, but he got that first one. Now he's got a second straight away.
Yeah, that's it. It is really come along for him. Just waiting for the drivers to position themselves around and get down into their positions in the green ring. Just waiting for number 10 at the moment. A little bit longer. Up our What we might do is we'll grab up our second place finisher first of all, as we're waiting on Dave Douglas, but we'll grab up Dylan O'Shea for DPR. A valiant effort at the end and a great run, making 20 positions in the race and almost getting win. Great P2 finish tonight, Dylan. Well done for tonight, and a solid run from yourself.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Unfortunately, I got contacts on both quali laps and had to start from the rear, but I just stayed out of trouble. Like that's what I've learned this season. You just if you can stay out of any wrecks, you can pretty much finish top 10. And thankfully, I could. I had a bit of pace. Definitely not pace of Hobbo, bro. Hobbo was just too good. He was just mental, but I could just hold P2 and yeah, just lucky, I guess.
Well, you took it to him. I mean, we saw Hobson had some pace over you, but you did absolutely try your best, and you tried every trick in the book to try and get him at the end as well. That final restart we saw, you were absolutely door to door, just trying to second guess when he was about to jump, and it looks like he caught you just at the wrong time.
Yeah, well, before that, he was going pretty like the same spot every time, so I knew I had to just guess really when he was going to go because he was too quick on the high line. I just had to put pressure and not give him that high line. But yeah, no, he just got me on the every restart, and it's like that one time I think I got overlap on him and I could stay with him for those like 2 laps when we were door to door, but he just once he hit his line, he was just gone.
Yeah, he away like a scolded dog and absolutely flew away. But you had a fantastic run tonight, and as you said, just keeping out of trouble. Not an easy thing to do here on the dirt at Bristol.
No, definitely not, especially like no, it's quite hard on dirt because it's not like even myself, I don't have full control of these things. Like one little mistake and you can slide up onto someone, like just understeer into the wall. That's why I wasn't really running the top because I don't know if it was just too risky for me because I know I'm not the best and I can easily get heaps of damage on my car. And it's just not worth it. So I was just trying to get that bottom line working for me, but it just wasn't good enough.
Well, you're pretty hard on yourself, which, racing drivers, they tend to be. This is your best finish in the Cup Series today. Now, there's only one place higher to go, and it feels like there's an opportunity that might happen sometime this season.
Yeah, I hope so, but I guess we'll see what the future holds.
We will absolutely look. Congratulations on P2 tonight. A solid run from yourself, and I'm sure we'll get you back in the booth soon. Before I let you go, Dylan, the usual thing of shout out and after sponsors.
Yeah, just cheers to ANZCAR putting the event on and you guys putting on the broadcast. And team sponsors, simrigs.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoist, Ben Max Mechanical, Phoenix Smokers, and NP Designs.
Thank you so much, Dylan. I'm sure we'll catch you back in the booth soon.
Cheers, thank you.
Dylan O'Shea, their second place finisher. Next up, we will grab our third place finisher, the man with the casting couch, Mr. Dave Douglas, the number 10, P3 tonight. Congratulations on a podium finish, Dave.
Hey, cheers, guys. Can you hear me?
We can, loud and clear.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, mate. Thanks for that. It was a long, hard bloody fought for third there, but managed to just be in the right place at the right time there to get some places, and here we are. Managed to hold on to third, so it's all right.
Yeah, it didn't look like an easy fight for you, in all honesty. You had to put up a valiant battle to get that third position. I think you fought pretty much everybody on track for this position.
Yeah, it was strange. Like the start of the race was fine, was all good, and then just the middle part of the race, I was so uncomfortable. Like I dropped back to like ninth at some point. You get out of line and you get out of rhythm, and it takes a bit to get it back. And then the evolution of the track is changing all the time as well. So you got to try and go with that. And yeah, I had a good old ding dong battle with Daiso there. Unfortunately, he got punted after I got past him because it would have been a good battle to the end. But yeah, snuck underneath in there somehow. Small bit of contact, but it's dirt. He knows, and he'll be aware of it. But yeah, it's good little battle.
It's hard not to have a little bit of rubbing on a track like this. I mean, grip is not exactly it's not exactly something you've got out there in heaps.
Yeah, no, once it slicks up, like these cars have got a lot of horsepower, and yeah, it was easy to overdrive, and that's what think I was doing was I was overdriving those restarts in the middle of the race, just trying to hold some position, but it was making it worse for me. So just had to calm it down a little bit on the throttle, and yeah, just let it sort of float to an extent. But yeah, there was some big holes out there. I don't know if you see the holes from the cameras, but in the car, mate, you're jumping down that back straight.
We saw on the I think it was towards the final lap, Riley ended up with his whole rear of the car off the ground
Both
Yeah,
both big
it was
after
wheels
he
off
hit
the
the
ground.
bump.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, I was talking earlier about the straights looking like they were pretty bumpy, um, and I'm glad that I got some got that confirmed because yeah, it definitely did not look easy driving that thing, especially on the sort of high line on the
yeah,
back
no,
and front straight.
definitely not. I think like the worst one was out of turn two. Just if you come off turn two, if you're on the top line and you're sort of crossed up, like it would just literally just buck you all the way. Like you feel like your front spinner went up and then dug into the ground at the front. But so then towards the end of the race, I was just trying to stay to the left of it a little bit, and it just makes you drive off a lot better. You're not getting that wheel spin. So I think I found a little bit of time there, but that's if you're able to get there with cars around you and whatever else going on too. So
Yeah, it was not an easy night in the office for sure, but you made it work well. I'm just going back and sort of having a look at some of the things on there. I was just looking at the back of your car, just jumping around like
yeah, it's wild.
a frog on acid. It absolutely was going up and down. Really putting the old casting couch on a workout.
Oh, absolutely, mate. I did say that away. I worked up a sweat in that race. Mid race, the Oculus was fogging up. I've got sweatband going. Like it's hard work out there. You're just soaring away on the wheel, trying to keep it going. I've got aircon fan pumping, and still work up a sweat. So, old Aaron Dillon, shout out Sim boys. He said it was too much of a workout, so he didn't even bother turning up the night. The cat.
Can't blame him in all honesty. Just something there actually, just with the VR, of course, obviously. I imagined it would have been quite rocky in VR. Did you get any motion sickness at all?
Like motion sickness is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Originally when I first put it on, um, I did, but not too much. Like, yeah, I never spewed, but I have heard of people that spew out. But once you get used to it, give it 2 weeks, and then you don't even notice it. Then you can go racing. But it definitely
I
makes it
think
more fun on them bumps.
yeah, I was about to say tonight. I think if there was any chance of getting any motion sickness, the VR tonight here at Bristol would
Yeah, definitely,
definitely cause it.
definitely. And you'd go across them bumps, you'd feel it through the steering wheel, everything. Like, yeah, it was pretty gnarly to be honest. It was fun. Just added another element to
A good simulation of whitewater rafting.
it.
Obviously, good result for you tonight, and that's going to be good news as well, championship wise. I think that's going to get you up into possibly the top 20, just looking at championship points. So that
Yeah,
has been
hopefully,
good news, as it
definitely.
looks like it's going to hopefully be you locked into a position.
Yeah, it's been a long road. Obviously, missing Daytona 500 and then having a spin at Vegas on the quali lap put me out. So missing two races has been a long road to try and get into that 20. That's the target. And tonight will go a long way of yeah, hopefully locking in there for next week.
Well, that's some good news for you, Dave. Congratulations on tonight, and the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors and people and generally everybody that you want to say hello to.
Uh, First of all, I got to shout out Hobbo. He did a bit of a masterclass at the front there. He got past Jaden there, which was interesting to see. And then, yeah, he sort of did what he had to do to get the job done there. So well done to him. And I think well done to a lot of guys there. Like the first half of the race was good. Those clean laps at the start. I've never had anything like that on the dirt tracks before. So those first few green flag runs were really good. So shout out to everybody there. Shout out to ANZCAR, all the admin, performance history, Matty, doing all the work behind the scenes, and you guys putting on the broadcast. Shout out to the Sim Boys, obviously, and then the Bandits, and that's it, man, I guess.
No worries. Thank you so much, Dave. Good luck, and hopefully we'll get you back in the booth very soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Love you. Bye.
Dave Douglas there, the number 10, of course, the casting couch fame, getting second place. But now we will grab up for the second week in a row. The victor of tonight, Mr. Brenton Hobbo Hobson. Congratulations on getting that second victory, Brenton Hobson.
Yeah, the shackles are off, Carl. We're off. The momentum's
That's it.
going.
I told you, didn't I? I said once that first one's done, that's it. It's away from there, and you proved me right.
Yeah, well, I was looking forward to Martinsville last week just because it was a short track. I mean, otherwise, I wasn't looking forward to it at all. But I was hoping that we might have been able to get a race in there and I might have been all right again. But of course, it didn't happen. So I looked at the schedule and went, Bristol Dirt, that's the only next best thing. So I was pretty pleased to be coming here tonight. I like the dirt stuff. So I was fairly confident coming in that we'd be there or thereabouts again this week. But yeah, actually getting to the finish line first, as I've said before, is pretty tough in this league. So you never take anything for granted, and I tried to throw it away a few times, but in the end, managed to get the win. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, look, it wasn't an easy victory tonight for sure. You had battles all the way there. Obviously, Jaden Russell early on, Dylan O'Shea really putting the pressure on you as well. It was not an easy victory, but we saw that pass on Jay Russ early on. And once you got past him, you sort of managed to start getting those laps down and start sort of getting that sort of first place held into a decent position.
Yeah, I mean that what happened with him was just super unlucky. It sounds like he just made an error on the restart. Wasn't aware of what the track would be like on the outside for the first time in the race, where I'd been restarting every time, so I knew what it was like up there. But um, on the inside was much easier to launch off. So I guess he just made an error and ended up spinning on the restart, which is so unfortunate because he was so quick tonight. He deserved to win. The only reason why I got past him was because, again, it was just an error to not hit the top in that turns 1 and 2. He couldn't get there based on his line down the straight. So it was fortunate for me that I even got past because I don't think I would have been quick enough to beat him if he had stayed in front. And overtaking is not easy, as we know. So he was very unlucky tonight. He probably deserved to win, but I mean that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, it was tricky. I mean, towards the end, the track was just getting so blown out, and the cushions getting super rough up the top. But that's just where I wanted to be. I knew I could be fast up there if I hit it, but it's very very easy to make a mistake and stick it in the fence like I did several times. So I just had to do my best and try and be as mistake free as I could be. And I knew that my speed was good enough if I was able to do it. And in the end, yeah, we were, which was good.
Look, a fantastic performance, and look, 2 wins in a row now. That's a good thing to have. That's a good feeling, and obviously this is going to help put that championship lead out a little bit further as well for you.
Yeah, well, I think we talked about that in an interview once before where, we all say we don't worry about points, and technically we sort of, it's in the back of our mind, but we're here to win every week. And I sort of said that, if I can keep getting the results that I know I can get and keep on doing what I know I'm capable of week in and week out, then the points will take care of themselves. So we've sort of been good all year, just that one bad result, really, that was a race that we should have won anyway. And so our pace has been good. So we're finally at the pointy end now, and yeah, we'll extend away a little bit this week. And I don't know what's coming up next. I still know that my weaknesses are yet to come on the calendar. I mean, plate racing is always a bit of a anything can happen type scenario. We've got a couple of them coming, and the mile and a half stuff, and some of those sort of tracks. I'm not real sure yet where I'm going to be, particularly the bigger ovals, the 2 mile sort of area stuff. Like I'm just not sure where I'm going to be there yet. That's probably the part that I need the most work on. So, we're certainly not off and away completely. We've got some tough stuff coming for me personally, but I think I've got the ability to sort of adapt and maybe get on top of it and hopefully at least be punching in good, top 5 results there at worst, and just keep myself in contention every week, put myself in good positions. And who knows, maybe we can pick up a few more wins on those type of tracks too. And if we can figure out that sort of configuration, that package, we put ourselves in a really good spot for the overall championship as well at the end of the season.
Well, it is going to be Talladega up next. So,
Yes, like I said, anything can happen on the plate races. So
Yeah.
you can do the best job ever and have a bad result, or you can wobble around and just keep your nose clean and end up with a good one. So we'll have a bit of a think about our strategy as a team and what we want to do, how we want to try and do it. We opted to be aggressive at Daytona and try and run near the front and dictate the race, and we led a lot of that race at Daytona. And we had, I think, a combination good enough to win that race. But of course, the big one happened and it took out J. Russ. So ultimately, that's just the luck factor on those tracks. And you got to take that. You got to accept that you might end up with a P25, P30 sort of range finish and be in the hauler nice and early. It's just how it goes. But you can't get upset about that on a plate track. That's just the sort of thing that happens to people. You can't go through a whole season without one of them, at least you wouldn't think, on those tracks. So you sort of take it, try and hope it doesn't happen, but do your best to avoid it if you can and just see where the cards fall.
Look, absolutely. That is always the scary thing at plate tracks, but hopefully the momentum will carry on, and how good things come in freeze. Well, hopefully it will mean that you will be back here next time in the broadcast booth with another victory under the belt. But I won't put too much of a curse on you. Congratulations to tonight, mate. Well done again. Before I let you go, the usual thing is shout out and love to sponsors.
Yeah, well, thanks obviously to Jaden for coming in again tonight. He's been on fire in the trucks, and he had a good win here on Monday night in the dirt. So it was good for him to come back tonight and put that challenge right up to me again this week. And like I said, he was probably the better driver tonight, but unlucky. But it was good for him to be here again and be racing with him. And thanks to all the guys at SSR, good team and good bunch of guys and good fun to race with, and also the sponsors as well. It was pretty cool to put the Smith and Sons car on the top step here this week. We've won with the Wave Runner car last week, and we're back this week with the Smith and Sons one. So we've got them both in victory lane, which is cool. But also thanks to DGD Customs, Posies, and any of the other sponsors that we've got on the cars. There's quite a few, and they all help with making the wheels go round. And thanks to the league. It's a great series, good fun. And of course to you guys as well for putting on a great show every week.
Look, you're always welcome. Thank you so much, Brenton Hobbo Hobson. Congratulations on your second victory, and I'm sure we'll catch you back in the booth soon.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Well, Matt, Bristol is over and done with. The dirty deed has been done. But next up, it is a different challenge entirely.
Yeah, complete opposite, isn't it? I think Talladega we're going to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, losing track of time. Yeah, so Talladega, next the complete opposite of this, basically. Short track to a super speedway. Big prize on offer as well. So I imagine it's going to be pretty competitive to get into that top 30. Yeah, it's going to be a good race.
It's going to be inciting indeed. You can catch all of that action, of course, here on Performance E-streaming and the ANZCAR Facebook page. Make sure to head over to the ANZCAR Facebook page and, of course, the ANZCAR page itself, www.anzcar.com, for all the latest news, results, and information. And if you're looking to apply to the league, things like that, then that is where you go to do it. Because there is, of course, the trucks, the Xfinity Series, and, of course, the top end of the Cup Series, which we had tonight, and we will be back next week. We thank you all for watching. Thank you, a big thank you, of course, to Matt Hunter doing the extra commentary, and of course the fantastic camera work and all of those beautiful graphics you see on screen. Always doing a lot of hard work in the background, Mr. Matty Hunter. Myself, Carl Wilkinson, with you. I wish you a good night, and we will see you next time at Talladega.
See ya.